Behind every package is a story, but this one, delivered by a FedEx driver on a cold December day, was different. It wasn't about the boxes. It was about a broken heart, a desperate prayer, and a hug that would echo across the internet. The December air bit at Amanda's cheeks, a sharp contrast to the overheated cab of her FedEx truck. Christmas music blared from the radio, a relentless cheerfulness that grated on her nerves. It was December 20th, and the holiday rush was in full swing. Amanda, 32, usually loved this time of year. The twinkling lights, the festive spirit. It normally filled her with a sense of warmth. But today, the pressure was crushing. Packages piled high in the back, a seemingly endless list of addresses, and a constant ticking clock reminding her of the ever-present deadline. She adjusted her brown FedEx uniform, the familiar weight of the scanner on her hip a reminder of the task ahead. This route, in the quiet, tree-lined suburb of Oak Haven, was usually a pleasant one. A mix of houses, some grand with elaborate Christmas displays, others more modest with a simple wreath on the door. Amanda knew it like the back of her hand. She had a system, a rhythm. Park, scan, deliver, repeat. Efficiency was key. Get in, get out, keep moving. But today, something felt different. A subtle unease prickled at the back of her mind, a feeling she couldn't quite shake. It started when saw number 14 Willow Creek, a small two-story house. It wasn't unkempt precisely, but the small garden was slightly overgrown, the usually vibrant red door wreath was faded, the single string of lights unlit. A subtle air of neglect hung about it. Amanda, focused on the two boxes in her arms, registered these details almost subconsciously. She was thinking about her schedule, about staying on track. As she approached the front door, it swung open. A woman, perhaps in her late 50s, stood there. Her face was kind, framed by soft, graying hair, but her eyes held a deep-seated weariness. She wore a simple, faded blue sweater and jeans. Her smile was polite, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "Good morning," she said, her voice a little hoarse. "Just checking for the paper." She gestured towards the mailbox at the end of the driveway. Amanda, ever the professional, offered a bright, "Good morning. 2 packages for you today." They began to walk the short distance up the driveway together. The woman glanced at the FedEx truck. "Busy time of year, I'd imagine," she asked, attempting small talk. "Oh, incredibly," Amanda replied, a practiced smile on her face. "But it's nice to see everyone getting into the spirit." The woman nodded, a flicker of something, sadness, crossing her face. Amanda, feeling a slight awkwardness, continued. "Did you have a nice Christmas planned? Any big family gatherings?" The woman hesitated. Her lower lip trembled, almost imperceptibly. It's been a bit of a challenging year," she said, her voice catching slightly. "We're dealing with some things." Amanda, caught off guard, felt a pang of sympathy. She wanted to say something, to offer some comfort, but the words caught in her throat. The pressure of her schedule, the other deliveries waiting, weighed on her. "Oh, I understand," she stammered, feeling inadequate. "Well, I should get going. Have a good day." She practically thrust the packages into the woman's arms, turned, and hurried back to her truck. The next few deliveries were a blur. Park, scan, deliver, repeat. The mundane routine should have been calming, but Amanda couldn't focus. The woman's face, her tired eyes, the catch in her voice, it all replayed in her mind. A knot formed in her stomach. She looked so sad. The thought echoed, growing louder with each passing minute. Then came something else, a feeling difficult to describe. It wasn't a literal voice, but an inner urging, a powerful sense of disquiet. It was as if something was pulling her back, telling her she hadn't finished what she'd started. Amanda tried to rationalize it. "I'm behind schedule. I have dozens more deliveries. It's not my problem." But the feeling persisted, growing stronger, more insistent. Her heart began to race. She remembered her grandmother, a deeply religious woman who always talked about listening to your gut, about following the promptings of the Holy Spirit. Was this what that meant? The internal debate raged. Logic battled intuition. The practical fought against the compassionate. Finally, as she passed a house adorned with a joyous, oversized inflatable snowman, surrounded by laughing children. Something snapped. The contrast was too stark. She couldn't ignore the feeling any longer. With a sudden, decisive movement, Amanda pulled the steering wheel, executing a U-turn. Her hands were shaking, but her resolve was firm. She was breaking the rules, risking her job, but she knew she had to go back. The house on Willow Creek looked even more forlorn now, bathed in the fading afternoon light. The unlit string of lights seemed to droop a little lower. Amanda's heart pounded in her chest. Doubt crept in. What if she's angry? What if I'm making a fool of myself? She took a deep breath and rang the doorbell. The wait felt like an eternity. Finally, the door creaked open. The woman stood there, her expression a mixture of surprise and confusion. Her eyes widened slightly as she recognized Amanda. "Oh, hello," she said, a question in her voice. Amanda, feeling a lump in her throat, managed a small smile. I felt like I needed to come back," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I'm so sorry about what you're going through. I know it's none of my business, but I just wanted to see if you were okay." The woman's face softened. The lines of weariness seemed to deepen, but a flicker of something else, gratitude, appeared in her eyes. She opened the door a little wider. That's very kind of you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "My husband, he's been very ill. Cancer." The word hung in the air, heavy and stark. Amanda stepped inside, the warmth of the house a welcome contrast to the cold outside. I understand," Amanda said, feeling a surge of empathy. "Would it be all right if I prayed for you? For your husband?" The woman's eyes welled up with tears. She nodded silently, her hand reaching out to grasp Amanda's. Amanda gently took her hand, her own trembling slightly. She closed her eyes and began to pray, not a formal, recited prayer, but a heartfelt outpouring of words. She prayed for strength, for comfort, for healing. She prayed for peace for the woman and her husband, for courage in the face of adversity. As she spoke, she felt a sense of calm wash over her, a feeling of connection, of shared humanity. The woman's tears flowed freely, silent sobs racking her body. When Amanda finished, she opened her eyes. The woman looked at her, her face etched with gratitude. Then, without a word, she pulled Amanda into a hug. It was a hug unlike any Amanda had ever experienced. Tight, desperate, filled with a depth of emotion that transcended words. It was a hug of shared pain, of shared hope, of profound human connection. Amanda left the house a few minutes later, feeling a strange mix of sadness and peace. She was still behind schedule, the packages still piled high in her truck, but it didn't matter. She had done something real, something meaningful. A few days later, feeling a need to share the experience, not for attention, but to show the power of a simple act of kindness, Amanda posted a short video about it online. She described the encounter, the feeling that had compelled her to return, the prayer, the hug. She didn't expect much of a response. But then, something extraordinary happened. The video went viral. Comments poured in, thousands of them. People shared their own stories of loss, of illness, of unexpected kindness. They offered words of encouragement, of support. The story resonated, touching a chord deep within the human heart. Then came a call from the Steve Harvey Show. They had seen the video, been moved by the story, and wanted to feature Amanda. She agreed, hesitant at first, but seeing it as an opportunity to spread the message of compassion even further. The show aired, and the response was overwhelming. A donation of $5,000 was made to a military charity Amanda supported, a cause close to her heart, and the video views was over 20 million. But more important than the money, more important than the fame, was the ripple effect. The story inspired countless others to reach out, to connect, to offer a helping hand, a listening ear, a simple prayer. The woman's husband remained ill. The outcome of the future is unknown. But in that one moment of connection, the impact was immeasurable. The true gift was this. It highlighted how the power of empathy, of listening to that inner voice, of taking a chance on kindness, could transform not only individual lives, but the world around us, one small act at a time. It wasn't about FedEx. It was about faith in humanity.